Hello there, a very warm welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us today and for watching Smart 24 TV. Of course, we are the #1 business channel and we bring you business 24 hours, 7 days a week. My name is Anthony and this is The Point. Now on The Point, we do, of course, focus on policy and analysis of the different sectors and segments of business here in Uganda and in East Africa in general. We do focus on where the key players are and what they contribute to business here in Uganda, all the way from the suppliers, the businessmen, and of course transactions of how business happens here in East Africa and how we can make it more efficient. And the show, remember, is always caught on Monday, Wednesday, and Saturdays for that matter. This is The Point, and Smart 24 TV is pledging to support business and continue being the driver of business, not only in Uganda but in East Africa as well. Remember to follow the show very closely on YouTube at Smart 24 TV Live. You can also follow us on our GOTV channel 394 and DSTV channel 372. As well, you can follow me on Twitter at Anthony Sebale. You can also follow Smart 24 TV at Smart 24 TV as well on Twitter, and we have the conversation going. Now today we are talking the cashless economy and the use of technology in our businesses today, and especially transactions. Now latest statistics from Bank of Uganda indicate that there's been a growth in electronic payments comprising of mobile money, the real-time gross settlement or the RTGS, as well as transfers, recovering strongly in 2020 and 2021 at 18% and 26% respectively. Now that was after a very sluggish growth in 2018 and 2019, where we had a growth of about 12% and 6% respectively in those years. This recovery could be dedicated probably to the COVID-19 pandemic, which left many businesses with no option but to transfer money electronically, and that of course could be one of the attributes to that growth. But there have also been reforms in the regulations on electronic transactions, including, for example, the National Payments Systems Act 2020, through which Bank of Uganda issued more than 17 payment systems related licenses as of August last year in 2022. The central bank has also recently further reduced the upper limits for checks, thereby increasing the scope of electronic payments. And that's, of course, showing a little bit more growth in the electronic payment system. Now, today I have a very special guest with me as we discuss the topic of electronic transactions and how we can effect them here in Uganda for business growth and also for easing transactions. I have Mr. Isao Otika, who is from PesaPal, which is one of the licensed payment system operators here in Uganda. You're most welcome to the show, Mr. Isao.
Thank you, Anthony.
Yes, let's talk about your journey, first of all, with PesaPal. At least as far as I'm concerned, PesaPal has not only just opened in Uganda, but you opened in Kenya as well. So tell us about the journey of PesaPal. What were the core objectives and the visions that saw this company open?
Okay, so PesaPal started in Kenya. Actually, it started in 2009. Then expanded to several countries, Uganda in 2013. So we're making 10 years this year. So we have been around for a while. Wow. So PesaPal focuses on enabling businesses accept digital payments. So what we do is we enable businesses accept all the popular payment methods. So all the way from mobile money to Visa to MasterCard and whatever comes along in the future. So we're a payment service provider. We do online payments. We do point of sale payments, that is when you're in front of the customer, and also offline payments. Yeah, so we offer the widest range of payment collection methods. So we started quite early with the hospitality industry. That is where our business began. So back in 2009, it was really difficult to use your Visa card to make a payment to Africa, to put it that way. So a typical tourist, if they wanted to make a booking for a safari in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, they would have to make a phone call to a tour operator. That's if they could even find one. Then they would have to arrange the amounts. They have to go to the bank, do a wire transfer to the hotel or the tour company, and then after a couple of days, then the money will be received. Then the business will continue. So with that gap in payment, that's where PesaPal came in. So we built a simple system that allows guests or customers to make payments from anywhere in the world. So anyone with a Visa or MasterCard could simply go onto our website and make a payment to any business that was subscribed to PesaPal at that time. So from there we expanded more into the hotel industry. So we have a team of world-class engineers that built a booking system that allows hotels manage their room availability, manage their rates all in one place. And all they have to do is plug it into their website, and then the booking system will take care of the rest. So instead of having someone seated at the reception desk picking phone calls 24/7, you have a system that's working for you, that is efficient. It's able to accept bookings, it's able to accept reservations, it's able to process payments, and as a business now you're able to focus more on offering a good service. Then from there we transitioned into retail. So we realized that it was the barrier to entry for accepting digital payments at a retail level was quite high. At that time it was only the banks offering the service. So, but these days, as we have grown, we have really penetrated into the retail market. So almost everywhere you go now, you'll find a PesaPal terminal, where you can now pay using your Visa card. You can also pay mobile money. And from the business perspective, it makes operations much more smooth. So you don't have to do daily manual reconciliations because everything is done for you.
Wow, interesting. You've talked about starting with the tourism industry and especially safaris and then hotels. What drove you into the other businesses, especially in Africa, where we are not quite into digital transactions at the moment? You say 2009, that is in Kenya, and then 2013 in Uganda. How was it transitioning, especially into these other transactions besides the tourism industry?
It was a bit of a challenge because there was no benchmark back then. Very few players in the market. So what we did is we started by going into the market, looking for the bigger players in the tourism industry. We asked them, what do you need? What are your challenges? So they told us what they need. They told us where their headaches were, where their pain points were. And then we built a simple system and then kept iterating. So one of our core strategies is continuous innovation, continuous improvement, getting feedback from the customer and then deploying it. So as time progresses, everyone benefits from the feedback of everyone. So just because I might be having one problem doesn't mean I can't benefit from someone else's solution. Yeah. So we get our feedback from our customers, go back to the team, and they engineer solutions.
Yes, so you said it came in 2013, and recently you got your license from Bank of Uganda last year, if I'm not mistaken. What took you so long from 2013 all the way now to 2022, at least to get licensed and get to start transactions? Were there any regulatory, framework hurdles? Was the space not that competitive? What took so long?
Okay. As I said, it took a while because there was a bit of a gray area because we have banking, That one has always been heavily regulated, and our systems tend to ride on the banking infrastructure. So we would partner with various banks, and that is what we were riding on at that time. And as you said, recently the Payments Act was released, and that was what set the stage for us to now start moving towards licensing. Yeah. So the time between which we started and the time we actually got the license was more of a factor of availability than anything else.
Okay, interesting. Now, when you talk about cashless transactions and the cashless economy, there are so many payments that come in. For example, you've mentioned mobile money, the electronic fund transfer, and some people tend to confuse these with what you're doing. Yeah, because when you hear PesaPal and quite a couple of other national payment operators, the people don't understand probably what exactly your role is between the clients and the institutions. And I just want you to draw for us the line, the difference between what you're doing and what mobile money operators do, like MTN, like Airtel, or what the other payment systems do in the industry. Because like you mentioned, it seems you play more of an intermediary role than actually direct involvement of the customer.
Yes, that's a good question. So yes, you're right. We do sit in between the one paying and the business. So we act as a layer of control of how money flows into a business. So by default, most businesses will just accept cash. So what we do is we enable businesses accept these various digital payment methods. So when I say digital payment method, I'm talking about mobile money. That is, let's say MTN, you have Airtel. I'm talking about cards. If you have a Visa card, MasterCard. So we build the infrastructure that allows businesses accept these payment methods. So obviously you've probably heard of the different digital currencies. You have Bitcoin, you have all there's so many these days, it's hard to keep track of. Over time, those currencies will be more and more accepted. So as a payment service provider, PesaPal will now be able to support those payment methods, meaning businesses can now accept Bitcoin. So we act as an intermediary between the customer and the provider. Yeah. And then from a business perspective, we make it easy for businesses to adopt that technology, because it's a lot of work. Let's say you run a small supermarket. It takes a lot of time to now look for the providers directly, going directly to MTN, going directly to Airtel, going to the bank, signing 10 different contracts. So we do all that work for you, and then we just give you a final product, which is a booking system, an invoicing system, an airline system.
Yeah, interesting. So you actually do the homework, and these guys just come and enjoy the privilege of being able to transact electronically.
Yes, they get the ready meal.
Interesting. But the fact that businesses in Uganda, for example, we have some of the most entrepreneurial minds here in Uganda. Businesses are sprouting every now and then.
Yeah.
What do you think should compel the businessman or the employer to adopt a cashless form of transaction, and how do you help them directly in terms of, like you say, the business aspect? Because people come into business to make a profit.
True.
So where is the advantage of me using a cashless transaction mode of payment or mode of receiving money rather than the cash if I'm doing a business?
I would say for every business owner, one of the most important things is visibility. You want to know what is happening in your business as much as possible. Cash primarily is only as visible as when it's out of your pocket. Once it's in the drawer, anything could happen. A rat could take away your money. You could be receiving fake notes. Money gets stolen all the time. When you collect a lot of money, you physically move it to the bank. So what by going digital, what we do is create visibility for your business. So at any given time, as soon as someone swipes their card or makes a payment using mobile money, you will have that visibility. You know where that money is, you know how much you have, and you can immediately start using that money, that digital money, to run your business. You can make payments to your suppliers. You can use that data to get credit. Unlike cash, which there's always a delay. You have to do reconciliation, how much you collected. That takes time. Yeah. So by going digital, you're basically making yourself much more efficient.
As PesaPal, we have several other payment systems operators. What does PesaPal have uniquely from other operators? Because the business of, especially during COVID-19, like you mentioned, there was a lot of innovation in this sector. And I'm sure that's the time as well that you started getting to push this agenda across the country. So what unique aspects does PesaPal add to digital transactions?
So all our engineering is done in-house. So one of, you talked about COVID. So one of the products that came out of COVID is food delivery. So we have the existing food delivery services that were already in place. But we noticed they were very highly, the pricing was a barrier to a lot of restaurants. And at that time, it wasn't a good time to spend. So what we did is we built a food delivery service that enabled restaurants accept orders online and let their customers as well as pay online. And then the only cost they would have is a transaction fee that now covers the cost of the infrastructure.
Oh, wow, interesting. So is there any advantage of me using PesaPal rather than any other operator that you can cite?
First of all, we are licensed. We're licensed and we take security very seriously. I'm sure you've heard of a lot of cases recently in terms of fraud. So we take security very, very seriously. We use CyberSource. We are PCI DSS compliant, as well as several other certifications. So in terms of security, you're guaranteed of receiving payments.
Oh, interesting. Let's talk about, before we go into our break here, forecourt. You have a new system for fuel stations called forecourt.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about this.
Okay. Forecourt, for those who may not know, is a petrol station. So if you've seen a petrol station before, it has a roof and pumps under. So that's what we call a forecourt. So PesaPal's most recent product is a forecourt management system, which is a system that allows fuel stations manage their inventory, all the way from how much stock is left in the underground storage, as to tally with how much fuel is being dispensed. Then it allows you to view in real time how your fuel station is performing. Yeah, so we built a system from the ground up using the latest technology to ensure efficient operation of fuel players in the fuel industry.
Oh, interesting. So was it built for the clients or it was built for actually these service providers of fuel?
Okay. It benefits both worlds. From the fuel supplier point of view, from the retail point of view, you have 24/7 visibility on your business, which allows you to make real-time decisions. You can look at the data and make marketing decisions. You can know which days are slow, which days are fast. You can know when to order your next inventory. And then from the customer's side of view, we have guarantee of value. So the amount you're paying, you know that the amount you're paying for in terms of fuel is actually how much has entered your vehicle. So the system has ability to read tags. So you can give your drivers tags that they now have to present at the station to ensure that the amount that's being paid is what is going into their vehicle. And also from the customer point of view, you now can make payments digitally. That's Visa, MasterCard, mobile money, and all that is reconciled automatically. So you don't have to go back and try and remember how much you spent on fuel.
To what extent has this system been rolled out in Uganda?
It rolled out in Kenya recently, so now we're starting set up at a couple of stations in Uganda.
Okay, interesting. Thank you so much, Mr. So we're going to take a very short breather, and when we return, we want to talk about some of the challenges, especially in the digital transaction field. When you look at digital transactions, why people have a lot of fear, a lot of phobia for it is that people traditionally, especially here in Uganda, are used to having their own money in their own pockets, and that's the way they feel good about themselves, that they actually have this money. But what are the dangers, first of all, of this cash economy where we still rely on a lot of cash? And we've seen, for example, recently in Nigeria, there's been a shortage of notes because they're moving from the old notes to the new notes, and you're seeing all these cars parked on the gas stations. They don't have cash because they're basically still rolling out a new cash. So what are some of those loopholes in the cash economy that the cashless economy actually addresses? But also, what are the cashless economy challenges that currently need to be addressed? Because we also know about cyber crimes where people have been scammed of their money, not little money, a lot of money, especially through online scams and online transactions. How can we guard against these, and how is PesaPal as well helping? Okay, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This is The Point, and my name is Anthony. You're still watching Smart 24 TV. We are taking a very short breather. We'll return briefly. Stay with us.
Smart 24, driving business.
My name is Kaheru Bright Bernard, a sales and marketing consultant with Bukona Agro Processors. Bukona Agro Processors is a local manufacturer of green energy, specifically ethanol for clean cooking. The factory was established in 2013. Factory work started by 2019, and by 2020 we got support from government through Uganda Development Corporation to further improve our production, manufacture stoves that would be used, that would use ethanol for clean cooking. So with that fuel, we're producing fuel, green fuel, with the bio stoves for clean cooking. And we are in a partnership with GLU Diocese that has about 9,000 local farmers producing cassava, which is a bio, which is a raw material for production of ethanol. And we also use maize and grain, specifically sorghum, for production of the fuel. And currently we are exporting to Kenya. We have a partnership with Vivo Energy that supplies Coconut Works, a distributor of clean cooking solutions within Nairobi, Kisumu, Nakuru, and other parts of Kenya. We're also distributing within the local market in Uganda, but with, of course, the production of biostoves, we hope we shall also improve our distribution network within Uganda. to develop the culture of clean cooking using ethanol made from cassava that is locally produced here. And we hope that is going to support sustainable development goals, specifically SDG 13, 7, and 3, since our effort is to reduce the use of charcoal that has seen a lot of forests cut down, that has seen a lot of Mother Nature being lost, and most importantly, carbon emissions that are being emitted into the sky, causing a lot of green energy issues here and there. So we hope as we scale up further with support from government, specifically Uganda Development Corporation, we shall be in position to achieve these objectives, develop that culture of clean cooking, and have people consume more of that food. And within our community, we have really had a lot of impact, created a lot of jobs for the local farmers, about 9,000 farmers under the Archdiocese of Gulu Catholic Church. And of course, the local people within Nyoya, within Gulu, and the surrounding areas have gotten employment. We're employing close to 200 people on a daily basis as temporary and permanent staff. And that has really had a lot of impact. And we are hopeful that as we scale up this production process within the local industry, energy, specifically the energy sector, we shall change lives and we shall improve how we consume, how we cook, how we ensure we are consuming our environment through effective, clean, and healthy cooking solutions.
MTN Momo's giving you a reason to enjoy the back-to-school season. Skip the long lines, annoying traffic, and running around with bank slips. Pay school fees and more using your mobile phone. Simply dial *165*80# and follow the prompts. Or use the Momo app. So what are you doing today? MTN Mobile Money Uganda Limited is regulated by the Bank of Uganda. Smart 24, driving business.
A very warm welcome back to the show. Thank you so much for staying glued on Smart 24 TV, your number one business channel, as we do drive your business. Of course, this is the point where we talk policy and analysis of what is influencing and what's affecting business here in Uganda and in East Africa, and how we can make improvements within the business sector, especially transaction-wise, and the supply chains, and of course the businessman himself, how we can improve you as a businessman and improve your business in the long run. I'm still talking to Mr. Isao Otika, who is actually you are a technical advisor, right, if I'm not mistaken?
Technical director.
Technical director. Wow, that sounds even cooler. Probably for our viewers there, a technical director of PesaPal, which is one of the licensed national payment system operators here in Uganda. They operate a system where they provide services, especially to link transactions that are basically online, especially when you look at, for example, banking, people who are paying through banks, people who are paying through mobile money. They help you set up that sort of system and help you to manage it well. And we have so far talked about the need for PesaPal today and why the cashless economy is important. And when we went into the break, I had a question for you on the challenge that we need to address, especially here in Uganda. The mentality of the cash, people having money, physical printed money in their hands to feel like they actually have money. How are you addressing that, and what are the disadvantages of this kind of mindset? Because like I said, in Nigeria right now, they're running out of notes simply because they are moving, they're phasing out old notes and getting to bring in new notes. But also notably, Nigeria is the only country in Africa so far that has rolled out a fully digital currency, that is the e-naira. Yeah, and the government is trying to push all these agendas to see that they get away from the cash. In your own opinion, why should businesses today stay away from cash?
Cash, I mean, right now it's very prevalent, definitely. Almost everywhere you go, you still need to carry cash, especially for the smaller transactions. But I've noticed more and more businesses are starting to appreciate the value of going digital, of accepting digital payments. Personally, I feel like the more cash I have at hand, the more I'm at risk. First of all, it becomes very hard to keep track of where your money has gone. You might have a certain amount of cash in the morning, by evening you have no clue where it went. But with digital, at least I know for sure, if I'm using, let's say, mobile money or my card, I know exactly where my money went. And then even in terms of habit, I can now learn where is my money going and probably control my spending just by moving towards digital. With cash, you have a lot of risks. You have torn notes, you have fake notes, you have money physically getting lost, you can get robbed. But if your money is in digital format, even if your phone is stolen, because the phone is just a tool to access your money, even if it's stolen, your cash is still safe. Your money is still safe. So I would say the more we go towards digital, the more people understand that by not carrying physical money, they can still access services. I feel like it will make for a more efficient world.
Absolutely. When you still talk about cost, it seems like also the digital payments incur cost, especially taking a look at mobile money. There's been a lot of contention when it comes to mobile money transaction fees. You realize, especially people that are transacting small amounts of money are spending a lot more than they actually need to, and this is unfair because when you look at the people transacting big amounts, they're almost spending the same amount of money. So isn't that still something that is working against what we are doing? We are trying to cut costs, and digital transactions seem to be expensive.
Definitely, you're right about the costs, but I would say there's been a big improvement in terms of cost. 5 years ago versus now. So the regulators are beginning to understand that they need to level the playing field, that the cost really needs to go down in order to encourage adoption of digital payments. And as people realize the value of storing money on digital platforms, overall, I feel like it will help reduce that cost because now it's spread across more people.
So, in other words, we would have less costly online transactions.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the fact that many Ugandans, for example, have failed to adapt to the cashless economy, do you think it's lack of sensitization of government? Do you think it's the stigma, or is it about the lack of knowledge that is concerning digital transactions?
I think it takes a minimum number of people to adopt digital payments before it is widely accepted. There's a curve that needs to be, a line that needs to be crossed before we can achieve mass adoption. So yes, there's the issue of awareness. Like, let's say I want to send you mobile money, but you do not have a mobile money account. You will be forced to open one, and so on and so forth. Maybe you might, once you receive that, your first mobile money transaction, you will realize the benefit that you didn't have to travel 6 miles to go collect cash. And then you tell your friend about it. And the growth is basically exponential. So the more people get to know about it, the more people will get to know about it.
Get to use it. Yes, absolutely.
So it's a factor of time, I would say.
Let's talk about the regulation. The National Payments Act has been just enacted recently. Do you think this took a very long time? Because as well, when you look at other nations like Kenya, they already had online payment systems in place, and they are way ahead. And I think that's where you started from as PesaPal. Do you think the reforms in the regulatory framework are going to add something to the digital transactions here in Uganda?
Yeah, regulators definitely will play a huge role in adoption, because they will give confidence to the public in terms of safety and security. So the standards will be much higher than what they were 10 years ago, and more focused on the payment providers as opposed to just the banks. So you have, by having close regulation in place, I feel it will give the right energy to the public to adopt some of these payment methods.
What infrastructure do you need, for example, to set up, if you're going to use PesaPal, for example, as a means of getting that system installed? What infrastructure do you need? Because also this is a factor that comes into the cost. That is at the start. If you're, for example, you're taking your business online, what are the tools you need to put in place before you actually get started?
Okay. We have stayed true to our core, which is offering payments to the customers. So when we started, there was almost no infrastructure. Hotels didn't have websites, tour companies didn't have websites. So from the start, we built our systems to run on, I would say, nothing. So you might have a business that's functioning very well, but you do not have the means to reach an online crowd. So we offer you, our systems are built from the ground up to enable any kind of business start right away. So the infrastructure is built around the payment. So we offer you a full package. So let's say I'll use the example of a hotel. Maybe you have a hotel, but you don't have a website. Our booking system is already online. So we simply give you access to that, and you can start accepting payments. And the cost is really negligible, since it pays back for itself in terms of your efficiency, in terms of your reach, because now you're able to run 24/7. You can reach the entire world, unlike before. So yeah, we do offer the infrastructure as well.
Yeah, but there's also been reports showing that people don't have bank accounts. For example, in Uganda, less than people, about 5%, if I'm not mistaken, of people are also not are banked. And by 2017, the government of Uganda estimated 80% of payments were cash-based, as well as the World Bank reporting that only 33% of Ugandans can even just access the bank. So, isn't this going to be a hurdle, especially for people like you who are in the digital transaction era and the business here, because you say mainly you deal with people who are already enrolled in systems like mobile money and the banks? Isn't this a hurdle, especially looking at the numbers that are currently banked, the numbers that are currently using mobile money?
I would say the opportunity is still huge. The providers like mobile money will play a huge role in terms of creating adoption, because the easiest way to access digital currently, I would say, is mobile money. You can have a mobile money account without a bank account, and then once we have that mobile money penetration, and you already have the infrastructure to accept mobile money payments, it becomes now much easier for users to graduate to bank accounts as the amounts keep increasing and reach the limits of mobile money. Yeah. So I'd say it still comes down to a factor of time. As more people get aware of these services and their benefits, that they will appreciate the value. Yeah.
Absolutely. As per when we talk about the digital transactions also, the cryptocurrencies have gained a lot of fame recently, and one of the things that Bank of Uganda was actually keen on last year was those mobile money crypto transactions, and there was a ban on that on the 14th of April last year. I remember there was a friend of mine who was very enthusiastic about crypto, and he called me. I was like, okay, what's happening? Are they putting an end to cryptocurrency and so on? Looking in that angle, especially of crypto and blockchain technology, do you think as a country, as an economy, we are ready to embrace this kind of transaction? Because it involves risk. For example, when you look at the digital currencies, the bitcoins, they are volatile. They keep changing. Bitcoin price last year fell below 20,000 to over 17,000 US dollars, which was a record low since I think 2020, and now it's just picking up and going upwards. It's a kind of speculative currency, but when you look elsewhere in the world, they're adopting to it so fast. Do you think as an economy, as a nation, we are also ready to move in that direction?
I feel like we still have a long way to go. I would still stick to the mobile money route, because that's also partly due to availability of access to internet. Not everyone has access, while with mobile money you're able to transact. It will take a while before we have wide adoption of crypto, I would say.
Yeah, interesting. And the central bank digital currencies, do you have any opinions on those ones? Because Nigeria has adopted one, the e-Naira, and it's going entirely, it's trying to change the system from these cash transactions entirely to the electronic money, which is where you're dealing in this business. Would you rather buy into that than actually these cryptocurrencies and these other forms of online payments?
With centrally managed digital currency like the e-Naira, I would say are probably better positioned for mass adoptions, because what you want is a stable currency. You don't want one that keeps changing every day. So yes, I'm not opposed to that.
But then the regulation, because why we want these online payments and the digital currencies? People are saying that we want privacy. We don't want people to sneak into our accounts and get to know why we are transacting, who is transacting. And this is entirely the business of the central banks around the world. They want to know who is transacting at what point in time. So isn't that a contradiction of goals? Because we want still people to have enough money in their pockets. We want them to spend it freely. But then this tight hand of the central bank that is still putting a lot of regulatory power on the consumer, isn't it putting it at a disadvantage?
Yes and no, because at the end of the day, the central bank needs visibility on where the money is, so that it can better plan, for the country. So on our end as payment service providers, we are compelled to go with whatever is the preferred payment option. Yeah. So should it be that the central bank decides this is the only currency that is now accepted, that will now provide the infrastructure to accept those payments.
Okay, interesting. As per the business setup here in Uganda, who are your main customers? Because like I said, in the first position you mentioned very clearly, you're not mobile money, you're not an online maybe payment digital system. You are entirely an intermediary between the people that are receiving the money and the people that are sending the money. So who are your main clients? Is it the mainstream customers at the end, or actually the businesses directly that are making these transactions?
Primarily our customers are businesses.
Okay.
Purely businesses. Then on a secondary note, we do have products that cater directly to the consumer, like PesaPal Mobile, which is a mobile application that allows the everyday consumer to manage their bills, to automate their bills. So if you want to pay for your electricity on a certain date every month, so the PesaPal Mobile app allows you to do that. So that is a segment we're also in.
That's a separate segment.
Separate, yes, but it still uses the same payment infrastructure. So in that case, we simply provide the means for a customer to access services. Yeah.
Well, so I just wanted to get to know more about the PesaPal Mobile, because I didn't know about this one. Is that now a separate entity from PesaPal as a company?
PesaPal Mobile is one of our products. It's available on Play Store. It's available on Google. Store, Apple Play Store. So all you have to do is download it. You go to the Play Store, you type PesaPal Mobile, download it, and it will ask you for your registration details. And then it will show you the various services that are available. So currently we have airtime, we have electricity, we have water, and other services. So from the app, you're able to now select the service you're interested in, choose the payment method you want to use. It could be mobile money, it could be card, and then once you confirm, the service is rendered to you immediately. Yeah. So you could book a trip, you can book a flight with PesaPal Mobile, you can subscribe to your TV station and set it to automatically pay every month at a certain time. So that's one of the newer products that we have in the market, for the consumer directly.
So now we have the PesaPal Mobile, then the forecourt system.
Yes.
Which other product the information?
Okay, we also have Reserve Port, that is our world-class booking system that a lot of hotels in the industry are actively using. So we have over 500 hotels using this Reserve Port system. In addition, another consumer product that we have is Ticket Sasa, which is a lifestyle and events platform that allows customers or everyday users to find activities around the country, around the region, and then they can book and make payments.
You seem to be dealing with only the cool people, because now we're talking about Reserve Port, talking about forecourt people who drive, Ticket Sasa now. How about our farmers, for example, people like who are deep down in the villages? Are they being excluded, especially when it comes to these digital online platforms of payment?
I wouldn't say so. Some of the other side of it also benefits, because we have a new product called Open Float. That
I'll get all the products. I know that one by one.
There's so many.
Yes.
We might need another entire show to talk about all the products. So we have Open Float that now allows businesses to do outbound payments. So let's say you are a restaurant. You receive a card payment from a customer. That money now comes to PesaPal, and then from PesaPal you can push the payment to your tomato supplier using Open Float. So now your farmer, your driver, can now receive payment instantly through the PesaPal system. So that's one of the ways money moves much faster to the supply through the supply chain.
What areas do you think are lacking in terms of innovation and embracing technology in our business setup here in Uganda? Because currently we have so many financial technologies that are coming up, trying to bring out solutions to transactions, especially when it comes to online payment systems. But what area do you think has not been addressed and you're finding it as a challenge currently operating in the Ugandan business space?
I think it could be a factor of awareness. First, maybe someone has not heard about you before, but once they see you around, everywhere they go, they're seeing PesaPal. It becomes much more easier sell. We found that one of our key strengths, much as it might sound simple, is actually customer support, customer service. We listen to the customer, we go back to the kitchen, we cook better food.
So you don't just stuff all this.
we take feedback and bring it back.
Any negative feedback you've got? I know it's not something you would want to say, but anything that people have said, okay, I think we need some improvement in this area.
A couple of years ago, there was a struggle in terms of sending money from us to, let's say, a business, and that was a factor of the infrastructure between the banks. So we faced a lot of delays, but within the recent years, we found that time, from 3 days, it now takes 24 hours to receive your money. Yeah. So under 24 hours, you receive all your card payments.
So the time limits.
But that has now been addressed.
Yeah.
That was I would say one of the bigger challenges.
Let's talk about cybercrime. I know our time is fast spent, but we want the people have a lot of fear in this sector because of what they have had elsewhere being done. There's been a lot of people lose money, especially from their bank accounts, in transactions that are illicit. Has there been any effort in that direction, especially in cyber security, as PayPal, as any other national payments system? Has there been a very intentional effort to see that we castigate people who are involved in cybercrime, or we actually set up measures to avoid cybercrime?
Cybercrime is definitely a big issue. So on our end, we have very strong systems in place to monitor and curb any form of fraud. Use it all the time. People try and use stolen cards to run through the system, and whenever our system picks that up, it becomes blacklisted, and then over time, as the regulators provide avenues, we will now be able to share that information across. So let's say you've been known to do a fraud on one system. By having a central system, you're now able to alert all players in the industry, which now makes it much harder to do fraudulent activity.
Okay, and anti-money laundering, I don't know if there's been an internal sort of a system that can track this, because this is also another problem. Uganda, I think we are grey listed. We are not yet on the blacklist, but we are almost there if nothing is done. The money laundering is a big case in this country, because many people get money in fraudulent ways, or sometimes in legit ways, but they're not supposed to have that much money. And because online systems are there, they can be able to purchase so many things online, they go digital and they try to hide away. Has there been any effort as well in that direction to get people to establish where they're getting this money? For example, someone is buying a car worth 400 million, but their salary is 700,000. Well, how do you track that? Is there any measure to track such cases?
For that one, I would say it's mostly historical. If there's a central repository to check, maybe if Anthony has been transacting 1 million shillings a month, all of a sudden he's transacting 400 million, it should light up a red flag. So it comes down to the involvement of the regulators as well, to curb some of those situations. So it's not just us to enforce, but we need all the players to come in.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you. As we wind up the show, Mr. Isao, sorry about that. What would be your one message to Ugandans, especially about PesaPal and embracing the digital economy?
I'd say if you go digital, you make your business very efficient. You're able to get information about how your business is performing 24/7 and make very good marketing and spending decisions.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. Isao, for your time. And maybe your final say maybe on where PesaPal can be found. If anyone wants to make any consultations about their business, how they can be able to approach you.
Okay. Our office is in Bugolobi, Bandali Close. We're also available online on Facebook. If you just search for PesaPal Uganda, we're on Twitter, Instagram, as well as WhatsApp. So we'll list for you our contacts and website. That is pesapal.com. Should you be interested in the service, we have a team of experts that is ready to come to you and visit your premise to explain more about how we can offer value.
Wow. Thank you so much. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's this weekend's edition of The Point. We've been talking digital transactions and the cashless economy and how that adds value to your business. And I've been talking to Mr. Isao, who is the technical director at PesaPal one of the payment system operators here in Uganda that is licensed by Bank of Uganda. Remember to follow Smart24 TV at Smart24 TV Live, and also to check out our YouTube channel, that is at Smart24 TV, and get to link into our conversations here online, and visit our website for more information. My name is Anthony Sebale. See you later. Bye for now.